Welcome back to another episode of God Live B2B Jam Session with your boy Tim Salau. And that was You Don't Know What Love Is by Rachel Younger. Make sure to check it out. Hope you are having a wonderful Monday morning. Straight from Oakland. Oakland, if you are in the building tuning in, please show us some love in the comments. What did you do this weekend? Did you have fun this weekend? Because I had fun this weekend. I went to this amazing backyard barbecue at the Black Culture Zone in Oakland. It was amazing. I got this thing called, I don't know, I felt like it was a shrimp etouffee, but it was called some sort of French Louisiana dish. It was amazing. It was amazing. But let us know what you did if you are tuning in from Oakland this weekend, and if you're having fun this Monday. Did you take care of the dogs? Did you take care of the family? Show us some love. And if you're not tuning in from Oakland, let us know where you're tuning in from. We always have an international guest who is a part of our broadcast. Today, I'm excited. And I want to show love to my homie Klaus before I get it on who my special guest today is. Klaus is saying, I sent my bottle was replaced by Big Black Tea. It's right here, brother. 10X. Shout out to the 10X Innovation team. My boy Klaus continues to do amazing work, really building an international movement around innovation. Much love to Klaus. Also, shout out to a lovely LinkedIn user today who is saying, morning, everyone. Wishing you a safe, productive, and likely caffeinated week ahead. Stay caffeinated and make sure you drink some Big Black Tea. With that said, my special guest for today, he's awesome. I'm so grateful to be talking with him. Loto Vazquez is a fear hacker, leadership coach, personal development guru, and more importantly, he hails from Sofia, Bulgaria. And I'm excited because, someone reached out to me saying, hey, you have to have this guy on your show because he's blowing up in Bulgaria, but not only in Bulgaria, all over the world. He's released books such as Life Hacks 2020, Happiness is Easy, and Fear Hacking Method is his upcoming book. And he's going to dive deep a little bit about what that book is going to entail. But we're really going to dive deep with him today on how do people take control of their career by hacking fear, but more importantly, finding fulfillment and joy through integrity. This is something that he loves to talk about, and we're going to absorb his energy and wisdom on today's show. With that said, let me go ahead and bring the awesome Loto on the show. What's up, homie?
Yeah.
How you doing, my friend?
I'm doing great, and I'm super pumped to be here with you. Super thankful. I love your work, and I love to be able to serve this community that it's growing around the guide movement.
Oh, thank you, my friend. Thank you so much, Loto. Shout out to the guy community. He's showing us love. Thank you so much, my friend. I want you to share a little bit about your background because you have such an amazing story, man. Your child. If anyone goes to his website, you'll see his childhood. He has everything written, which is good. How did you start doing the work that you're doing around being a fear hacker and helping people conquer their fears?
Okay, it's a long story. It starts when I was 3 years old, but I'm going to make it as short as possible. Okay, so 3 years old, I'm growing up in a hippie community in the south of Spain. That's where I was born in Spain. Hippie community. But anyway, I was just a happy kid, like most kids, luckily. And not only I was happy and playful, the adults around me seemed to expect that from me, so everything was awesome. Now 10 years later, I'm 13, and it's the first time that me, like many teenagers, started to kind of smell that the adults around me didn't expect from me anymore to just be a kid and just be happy and playful. They seemed to be expecting from me to become one of them. Now that was terrifying to me.
Yeah.
Why? Because maybe others can relate to this. I didn't have a real clear, happy role model around me. My parents were more like more open-minded than most people, but still they weren't really consistently happy. So becoming one of them was like living a colorful world and getting into a gray world. 3 years later, after becoming a rebel and just making things more messy for myself, my mom didn't know what to do with me and my drugs exploration and so on, and sent me 13,000 kilometers away to Cordoba, Argentina, where my father was living there in a spiritual and holistic therapist community. 3 weeks into that trip and exploring a new environment and maybe a more mindful environment, I have what in psychology is called peak experience. An experience that you and me and everyone listening to us, based on Abraham Maslow, the guy of the Maslow's pyramid or the pyramid of needs, said everyone has it. So we all have it, more often or less. And it's an experience where, this present moment becomes tangible and the past and the future seems to vanish. And for me, it was the first time I was having this experience where really being present felt so alive. And I was at the same time conscious of the contrast of that experience and the previous moment. So in that moment, something clicked in my brain, and the direction of my life from now on is being discovering that experience more. And if I discover it, to share it with others.
Yeah.
So 21 years doing that day in, day out, day in, day out. Wow. I studied philosophy instead of business. I studied Gestalt psychology. I studied holistic therapies. I became a monk of a practice of meditations. I've been a monk for over a decade. And then this desire to reach more people led me to write the first book and to try to understand more what entrepreneurship was. And today, as I was mentioning before, I feel like integrity is the key to personal and entrepreneurial or professional success. Like, it's like integrity, it's being successful right now. It's like Gandhi said, I'm not gonna say it exactly, but like when your what you feel and what you think and what you do are in harmony, that is happiness. And I can relate to that a lot. So fear hacking is devouring our excuses. Fear hacking is stop letting fear, doubt, negative emotion get in the way of us doing really what feels right. When you and me, when anyone, we do what feels right, it feels right, it feels good.
Yeah.
And when we do that consistently, we are building a brand. Whether we are conscious of it or not, we are building a brand, and people start to trust us more, and then opportunities just come to us. And because we are in integrity, we have this beauty and this groundiness to actually say yes to the ones that feel right again, and say thank you, I pass this time, to the ones that are not aligned with our values. And
our integrity, right? I've gone on the record and said this before, that if you're ever building your personal brand, or if you're ever putting good out in the world and you consistently do it, you'll see a compounding effect on how that affects your life, but also how it attracts the right people into your life. Now, I want you to kind of share with us, Loto, why do you think people get so stuck in their own fear?
It's because we've been trained to avoid discomfort. Like our parents saying, "You are gonna get burned. You are gonna fall. Don't do that."
Yeah.
And so I talk a lot about this in my first book, Happiness is Easy. I use the baby as a model because I'd say that's the natural human being, the one that has the one that we are when we just arrived, and the baby is not afraid. The baby is just exploring like crazy. So it's not our nature to be afraid. Is it part of our nature to experience pain and discomfort? Absolutely, yes. Babies, happiest people on earth, babies, they cry every day. Why? Because every day something happens. Our problem is we don't cry. We don't find ways to release that tension that of course we are gonna be building up. If we fall, if someone says something not so nice to us, um, a potential partner just I was texting with him and he said something and I'm like, whoa, that's enough of a reason to cut this conversation, but there is another friend involved, so I'll be more patient. But so all these experiences that we have through our life that are doesn't feel comfortable, they add up tension, and we can either get more contracted and more stuck, and that's it needs extreme, that's fear, stuck and contracted energy. This is so key. Should be with highlights and neon light right now. Fear, every negative emotion, it's really just contracted and stuck energy. The same energy, when it's expanding and it's flowing, it's well-being, positive emotions. So we don't even need to, it's not like fear needs to disappear. We just need to use fear as a reminder to come back to alignment.
Wow.
Use fear as a reminder to be more attentive. I say attention, intention, and action. Not sure we will have enough time to go so deep into it, but so that's why we agreed I'll give this gift to the whole community at vipgift.com/lotovazquez.com. No, vipgift/lotovazquez.com. Yeah, vipgift/lotovazquez.com.
Check out the gift.
Yeah. So we can explore more together and help you, serve you more. But so if you just turn any negative emotion, including fear, you learn to expand it and to make it flow, you can use all of that as a fuel to fuel your personal and professional life, and turn around this habit that we picked up when we were kids of not doing what has a risk. And instead, if there is a risk, stop, calibrate, say, is it worth it? And if it's worth it, freaking do it anyway. And that's when you feel most alive, even if it's risky, even if you fall, even if your heart gets broken, but you were truly alive.
Yeah. Like building a company is truly risky. Truly risky. I mean, doing anything, venturing out on your own. I think every time people do something that they love, it's a risk. You're taking a risk on something that you truly love. But in that journey, you find fulfillment. You know, you have a masterclass program that you do with millions and thousands of people all over the world, and it's accessible on your website. You know, what have been some of the stories that the people in your community have shared once they've learned how to hack fear? And I love what you say about fear isn't something that you should avoid. In fact, you should use it as realignment to come back to that place of focus, happiness, presence. So what have been some of the things that the people you've impacted are sharing about how they've overcome their fear and have found presence through fear hacking?
Thank you. That's the most important, at least for my work. And, you know, one of the first things that people get, even in the first session, which will be like the one that we are gifting to the community, is that the first exercise that I do, actually, I start with purpose. So I start with first purpose, or I call it clarity of desire, then inner clarity of desire of who you need to become, then fear, because that is the thing interfering between where you are and where you want to be, and then fear hacking. And so even just with the exercise that is 10 minutes of clarifying your purpose, but to a place, to a degree where you know that's truly what you want. You know, it's not from someone else. You know, it's not from Hollywood or Bollywood. It's really what you can feel your heart bursting. And in that moment, the other day I was doing it just with a friend in a terrace in Malta. I'm traveling permanently, and last week I was in Malta, in a beautiful island in the Mediterranean. I was just doing it with a friend and started crying. Just because 5 minutes before she thought she didn't really knew what she wanted. Like she's been trying to figure it out. And in less than 10 minutes, she's like, yeah, of course, this is what I want. I kind of knew already. I just put a couple pieces more together. Now I know this is what I want. Now it's only about daring to follow it. So that by itself is super powerful.
You know, that kind of that confidence you need to dare to follow it. You know, for you, with given what's going on with the world, you know, in the U.S. there's economic unrest, there's so much violence, and we're seeing a rise in mental and emotional trauma. You know, where do you feel people can go, or what do you feel people can do to really push through times like this, where everything in their environment is telling them to shut down, and it's causing them more stress?
Yeah, I think what you are doing with your movement and what I'm doing with mine, which are super aligned, just different angles, is super important. You need to be, it's not new, but we need to be surrounded by people that are gonna support us expand and go from contracted and stuck to expanding and flowing. People that we feel easy to be around, but at the same time growing. And the other thing is, I think now this situation is just pushing all of us to stop delegating things that cannot be delegated. Our finances cannot be delegated. Our health cannot be delegated. Our freedom cannot be delegated. We need to be fully responsible. And I think fully responsible and following our gut, following our own raw discernment are really connected. So I think that's really what you need to be. It's surrounded by people that ultimately tells you, you decide, you discern what's best for you.
I love what you're saying about it's time to stop delegating your life. Because it's so true. So many people look to others for approval or for even that sense of validation on should I do things like this? But then it gets to a point where you have to be your own teacher, right? And you have to be your own proponent of change. And you know, so many people are stuck within that chasm of the need to know that they have to change and actually being the change that they want to see. You know, Loto, I would love for you to share, you know, where can the people who are tuning in, where can they learn more about your movement and, you know, follow your work?
If you go to @Loto Vazquez, in any of the social media, that's the same name: YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, everywhere. My webpage is the same, lotovazquez.com. And yet, if we want to really, really connect, this VIP gift /lotovazquez.com, that my clients tend to pay more than 100 euros or 100 USD, and that's I mean, sometimes way more, but anyway, it's a gift for you guys. So that's a way to super connect. And you know, related to that we were mentioning, Tim, about you need to ultimately become your own guidance, you know. And in this era of gurus, you know, I was a teacher of meditation. I was kind of a semi-guru, like really appreciated by many people. And at the same time, I had my own meditation guru. And that was really my breakthrough to end up the story that I kind of left halfway at the beginning. That's when I started to realize I needed to conquer my fears, because I had been a monk of a practice of meditation for 10 years. So that was kind of like, this is enough of a time to invest in a strategy. If it's working, it needs to really show. And if it's not really showing, maybe it's time to change the strategy, because my vision is still the same. I want freedom and happiness and fulfillment and abundance more and more forever. At that time as well, coincidentally, my wife brought me to our garden in a beautiful house in the mountains with views over the Mediterranean, sat in front of me with her beautiful green eyes and said, I love you and we are over. This is finished.
Wow.
And I can still feel in my chest like the shock. that's already 5 years ago. But what told me was you need to stop playing. You need to stop settling with playing bigger than other people or even than the majority. You need to start finding the way to really play as full on as you can.
Mm.
And then I realized I wasn't playing as full on as I really could if I was truly sincere. And I started taking more action until there was this sense of something choking me from inside of myself. And I realized I was just afraid. I was afraid to be rejected, and to not be good enough and to fail if I tried, or to succeed and change too much. And that was affecting my relationship with my wife, obviously, my ex-wife now, my my mom, my teacher, my colleagues, my fitness, my business, my finances. And that's when I was like, okay, I need to. It seems like the bottleneck is fear. I need to hack fear. And then I
Mm.
put all my uh, power into that, and I found a way. And now I've just perfection or polish that so I can share it with others. And part of it, although attention, intention, and action is something that it will take a little bit more, but more time, and may we have that time with the lucky ones getting that session. But at the end is any negative emotion and fear is contracted and stock energy. If you find a way to expand it and make it flow, that becomes well-being. I don't know if we have time now. If we do, we could do a short exercise in a couple of minutes and have a taste of what that feels like.
How about the next time we have you on, we do that exercise? Because I think that would be
Absolutely, absolutely. That sounds even better. Yeah.
And I want to say, Loto, you're quite an inspiration. Thank you so much for bringing that abundance of energy to today's show. Can we please have you on for a future episode? Hopefully, once you launch the book. What do you think?
Absolutely, absolutely. It will be my honor. Yeah, it will be my honor, man. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Loto. Talk to you soon, my friend.
Thank you.
Be well.
Thank you.
And that was Mr. Vazquez. Man, what an awesome, inspiring dude. And, if any of you are currently stuck in an analysis paralysis or in fear, some words of wisdom for Loto. Understand, how do you contract that fear and expand it into well-being and find your place of bliss, right? And I think that now more than ever, with everything going on in the world, is our time to do that. Find our bliss. With that said, you can also find your bliss with Big Black Tea, which is our new tea line that is launching soon, October 1st. Choose abundance. Big Black Tea, whether it be Zen or Harmony, tea is also an opportunity for you to create moments of peace in your day and find bliss and joy in the moment, especially given everything that's currently going on in the world. All right, y'all. With that said, thank you so much for tuning in with us for this bite-size podcast live episode of Guide Live B2B Jam Session. Later on this evening, we have a really amazing guest. She is the CEO of Incredible Health. You don't want to miss this episode. Man, Iman is a gem, and she's one of the leading founders and rock stars in the Silicon Valley, as well as in the health tech industry. We're excited to chat with her, dive deep on her background, how she built Incredible Health, and her thoughts on the future of healthcare and technology. All right, y'all. With that said, thank y'all so much for tuning in. Oakland, if you're in the building and you're watching this now or later, much love to you. Hit me up if you're enjoying this episode, if you have thoughts. And once again, join the movement, guideapp.co. We continue to build an enduring movement, and we love to see you take advantage of our platform. As always, our platform is your platform, and most importantly, with love, peace, and abundance. I'm going to ride you all out to this amazing song called How Deep is the Ocean. It's a jazz favorite. Check it out.